So welcome back to another video. In the last video, we've done a few little bits on the TT. We've done the rear boot struts, we fixed the interior light, and we sprayed the wing mirror, and it had a few reaction sort of marks on it, which I found out when I sanded it back even more and redone it, that I don't think it was the original mirror, because I went down to blue once I got past some of the primer. So I redone this a couple of days ago. I ain't got a clue what it looks like now. So we're going to head off to the workshop.
Isn't that noise in the background? Sounds like someone's purging.
I definitely need to get this one cleaned. It's a bit filthy. So here is basically how I left the mirror and the state I left in the mirror. So roll that video while I drive to the workshop, and I'll see you there.
So as you can see, I've got it nicely all primered. There's no reaction through the primer, so hopefully it should work out a lot better this time. Heat all the primer up, ready for put the first coat of base coat on. So here goes. And now time for the second coat. I'm leaving 15 minutes between each coat. So now it's time for the third and final coat. So I left it 24 hours for the base paint to dry, and then I sanded it back with some 1200 wet and dry as it was recommended to do. Once that was done, I started with the first coat of clear lacquer. 15 minutes waiting time, second coat of clear lacquer. And then the third coat of lacquer after another 15 minutes. And then once that was done, I left it.
So we've just got to the workshop, so let's go and have a look and see how this paint job's come out. A little bit orange peely. Not too bad. Doesn't really look like the same colour as the car. Looks very orange. But it's done, and we've got no lacquer peel on. Let's get all this stuff off. So let's have a good look at this. Although the camera's picking up, it does look a bit oranger. Orangey. And we have seen to get some paint has got underneath this one to try and clean up all this bit, which shouldn't be too bad to do. But overall, it's a little sort of run thing there, but not too bad. A lot of overspray has got onto some other panels, but a lot of it is dust as well at the same time. But overall, I don't think it looks too bad. So I think I just need to clean up this bit around here. So let's give that a little clean up. So I've tied up that little area there. Looking a lot better now. I had to use a bit of touch-up paint in places, but once that's all hardened, I'll probably flat that and polish that up, and that should be all good. Maybe a little bit of lacquer on that, I bet, who knows? Let's see what happens, but I think we need to clear all this stuff off now and probably get it outside in the light. So what I did use in the end, obviously I sanded it right back because we did have those reactions when I first done it, so I just went mad on it, sanded it right back, and I think it wasn't the original mirror because I got down to blue. I think I might have said that before, but yeah, I got down to blue. So what I used was some plastic filler primer, which I sanded back. Then I went for the plastic red primer because it says to use red primer. Obviously the Misano red paint, and then the clear lacquer.
I took this opportunity just to give the Mark II a quick clean because it was absolutely filthy.
So that's them both clean. I don't think the mirror looks too bad once it's outside. So it is still a little bit orange, but it looks better than having all that lacquer peel. And the Mark II's had a wash as well. So I think what we'll do now is we just take the Mark 1 out for a quick spin and put some fuel in it because it hasn't been on the road for a couple of weeks. So let's just obviously make sure everything's okay. So let's get in the Mark 1. So I know a little Shell garage down the road, so we're going to head towards that. Just put a little bit of V-power in her. And obviously just give her a run because she hasn't been out for a bit. But so far so good. As you know in the previous videos, we ain't got to worry about no clutch pedal snapping. Alright. Let's go. Listen to that turbo. Oh, there comes the fuel light. It's a bit of luck, but that's what our mission is now. Off to go and get some fuel and give her a good run. So I'm sort of quite pleased with that wing mirror. It's a little bit orangier than what I'd like, but to be honest with you, I think for a rattle can it hasn't come out too bad. I'm quite happy with the finish, but the colour's not spot on. I mean, the Halfords colour is not spot on. I mean, I've used the touch-up stick and that is actually quite good, but it just seems that their aerosol is not, their rattle can is not perfect, but I would say it's acceptable. So, happy days with that. I think where I don't use her every day, like once a week, once every couple of weeks, because what I do is I keep on swapping the TTs around. So I use the Mark II for a bit, then use the Mark 1 for a bit. It just obviously, for me, it's a bit more exciting when you actually get into them. So obviously at the end of this year, I'm hoping around about September time, I'm actually going to get this engine forged. Because it needs a cam belt anyway, but while they're forging it, they're going to do that. So I just sort of take that off the cost of what it's going to cost to get it forged, because obviously that's going to happen anyway, and they're usually about 500 quid to change. And I've got some plans for the Mark II as well. I would like to change the turbo on that. I think there's one called a T25 Frankenstein turbo or something like that, or even put a KO4 on it, which I'm probably more leaning towards the KO4, but I think I've got to change a lot more things to do that, like injectors. I mean, I might have to change injectors anyway, but I have to change the injectors and I think a few hoses around, where with the F23 turbo, I'm sure it's called an F23, it's a direct replacement and everything just plums into it. But I'll speak to a guy who's got an AirTech front mount intercooler on his Mark II, which is for a TTS, which has got the KO4 turbo, and he's got the KO3 turbo like me, but his is a hybrid. He said it was a bit of a pain getting it to fit. Obviously it fitted on the car fine, it's just doing all the plumbing, getting the hoses going to the right places. So that's sort of like, if you go KO4 route and change everything for a KO4, because the engine's an EA113, same as the TTS is an EA113, apart from the one I've got is a BWA, and I'm sure the TTS is CDL or something like that. But yeah, it's obviously still got things to do, and I definitely do an exhaust on it because that needs to be done. Yeah, so this is getting forged. We're gonna get some more power out of that. So many things still to come on the TT channel. So if you're not subscribed yet, just subscribe and just see what happens. So it's just a bit of a TT day today, really, isn't it? Right, let's get some fuel in this thing. So that's a bit of fuel put into the Mark 1. Not much, but enough. So it's got a little bit in it, and if we go in off, so we can top it up. It's running absolutely fine still as good as it was. I didn't use it last, a couple of weeks ago I reckon it was. But these two do look good together. Check them out, check them out. I think I need to go and get some fuel in the Mark II as well. Oh look, I broke my bonnet not closed. What an idiot. I was going to show you another little trick that I do. And the charger, I know it is dirty, it needs a good clean. But how many others of you do this? Just hook the cap on like that. I do that in both of mine. Just a nice little touch. Right. So let's get the Mark 1 put away, get back in the Mark 2 and get some fuel in that one. So this is TT Life. Let's put this one back on charge. If anyone wants to know, I use a C-Tech. I find it brilliant. So let's just plug this in. Right, so that's the Mark 1 sorted. Okay, some going there for that. So I definitely think we need to get some fuel in the Mark 2. Hasn't got much, so let's get cracking again and get some fuel in this one. So off we go. So it's a bit of a TT day. Got a lot of things sorted out. The mirror came out a lot better than what I expected, which I'm really pleased with. Got both cars washed. Do need to give them both a really good detail at some point, but I am pretty pleased with how today's gone, so happy days. So obviously we've got the Springfest coming up. If you've tuned in to Andy Chargers live, we've been doing some lives together, and obviously we spoke about Springfest. We're also speaking about doing the London to Brighton TT run, which next weekend we are going to get up early and head up to Clapham and plan our little route down to Brighton and make sure everything goes okay. So if you're up for that, message him, message me. We'll get some names together and see how many TTs we can get going there. It's not just Mark 1s, Mark 2s, it's all of them, 1s, 2s and 3s. So I think that'll be a really good event. We could all have a little spot to eat when we get there. I think it'll be a brilliant sort of like thing to do. It may be something we can also do as an annual thing. We can have like a date where we do it every year, and hopefully it can get bigger and bigger. And it'll be a really cool sort of thing, because they do the mini run, so why not do a TT run? That's what we were thinking. So that'll be good stuff. All right, so let's head on to the next shell. Let's go and spend some more money on some more fuel. Let's see how much 20 quid has given us. Not bad, not bad. Over a quarter of a tank. Happy days. That's both cars now with just over a quarter of a tank fuel in them. So next up, home. So I hope you're all having a really good bank holiday weekend. This bank holiday Monday, I'm recording this, so hopefully I'm going to get this up the same day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.